The question that I get asked frequently is how I keep my car so clean. And the short answer is I don't drive them, hence why they're under the cover in the garage. So if you're looking for answers on how to keep your car clean and you daily drive it, this video may not be for you. However, if you don't drive your car frequently, I'll tell you exactly what I do to keep my cars clean. And this is by no means the most perfect way to do it. This is just how I do it, the most convenient way for me to do it. So first I'll show you just how clean the car starts before I drive it and how dirty it gets after I drive it. So typically I take the car out, I drive it, then I bring it back and I wipe it down immediately. So I'll show you that process today. So this is my 124. It's been under the cover for almost 3 weeks. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. So pulling the cover off, we'll see that the car is pretty clean. We might see a little bit of dust on it from the cover, but it's very minor. All right, so here's the car with the cover off. Get a little closer look. Paint's in pretty clean condition. So of course I clean the wheels all the time and apply some tire shine. So I go 1 tread block over because when you start driving, it will create the perfect line. So the tires are always shined up, so they look fresh. So not too dusty. See a little bit of dust on the windshield. It's probably really hard to pick up on camera. The top shows more dust, of course, and that's mainly from the cover, and we'll see some specks of microfiber on there. So that's just me being a little lazy cleaning it up. So like I said, this car has been in the garage for 3 weeks. Of course, the cover helps keep a lot of the dust that would otherwise be on it off. So that's why I run the cover. Of course, every time you touch the paint with anything, you're gonna scratch it just ever so slightly. So this car is not swirl free, but any car that you use realistically is never gonna be swirl free. That does not bother me one bit. The paint is still above average, and of course you apply some wax on it, it's gonna look a lot better, fill in those minor scratches. But I would consider that this car is clean enough to drive as is. I wouldn't have to wipe it down. Of course, the longer you leave a car in the garage, even under a cover, the dust does get to the paint, so you will have to clean it off. And the product I like to use the best for cleaning off a car is a waterless wash and wax, and my go-to is the Meguiar's. So this product has a lubricating property to help minimize on swirl marks that happen to the paint. Of course, this only minimizes it. It is still going to happen because you are touching the paint even with a clean microfiber. This is still one of the better ways to clean your car, especially if you don't have access to a wash at your house. And also, doing a 2 bucket on your car every single time you drive, it's a little excessive and it's very laborious, which I don't like to wash my car. It just takes way longer than using this waterless wash and wax. And the wax in this actually is pretty effective. You definitely do notice it. That is why I like to use this product. Okay, so now I'm gonna go drive the car and I'm gonna show you how dirty it gets. First, I'll show you how many miles I drive. Okay, so let's take a look at the trip. So it's about 102, it's about to turn 102. We'll start the day off with 102 miles on the trip and see what we end at, and then I'll show you how dirty the car gets and how I clean it up. All right, so I'm about to go get gas because we are a little low. So check out the mileage, we're at 230. So we started at 104. So I'm just gonna get gas and go straight home, and then we'll see how dirty the car is, and then I'll show you how I clean it. All right, so here we are back. So it has been about 3 separate days of driving this car and about 128 miles of driving over the course of those 3 days. So when I parked the car, when I wasn't driving it, it wasn't covered, I didn't wipe it down. This will have 3 days worth of driving dirt on it. So of course the car doesn't look that dirty, but I tend to wipe it down after every drive so it doesn't get dirty, which that's the key to keeping your car looking clean, is just don't let it get dirty. Once it gets dirty, it's hard to get clean than to keep it clean. So a couple notes, I did drive it on the highway, the streets, and the canyon. So the canyons will bring a lot more bugs to the car than normal. For example, on this mirror, we'll see we got a couple bugs on there, as well as the front end of the car and the windshield. So the windshield, we got a little bit of bug splatter all over. So here's the half of the car that's in the sunlight. It actually looks pretty clean. Of course, my paint's a little swirled. Not too bad though. Yeah, and stuff like that is gonna get on the paint from driving in the canyon, so not too worried about it. In terms of tire shine, this is what the 303 looks like after 3 days. So it's not a super glossy tire shine, which I like. It looks nice and matte like a new tire. And of course, when you first apply it, it is pretty shiny. I apply it and I wipe it off, so it kind of dulls it down, but this is after a couple days and I think it looks perfect. The tires still look nice and dark. And look at the perfect cutoff line. That's why I go over 1 tread block when I apply it, so it just makes a perfect cutoff line. And as you can see, the 303 does not sling if applied properly. Of course, we got some dirt and debris there. The top doesn't look too bad. It's a little dusty, that's all it is. Luckily, there wasn't too much dirt that went on it. And the back of the car is actually a little visibly dirty. So there's some black specks of dust on there. The back of the car always looks like this after driving, so not worried about that. Exhaust tips are actually fairly clean. This is literally just dirt from driving on the road, just coming up on the back of the car. I don't really clean my interior that often, maybe once a year. So, I mean, I just definitely do for a vacuum. And I probably could apply a little bit of product to the leather, but I'm gonna do that later. I don't tend to do this often. All right, so obviously the best way to clean your car is non-direct sunlight, which luckily I wait for most of it to go out. How I get started is the first thing I do is actually pop the hood open. And the reason I pop the hood open is for two reasons. So the first one being let the car cool off while I clean it. With the hood open in the service position, as much heat as possible will come out of the engine bay. The second thing is I like to condition some of the rubber up here. This stuff gets really dry and dirty looking. With the hood open, it's more easy to access. First reason is that, and then of course there are other plastics in the engine bay you can dress. So the 303 works great on plastic like this, the intake manifold, the crossover tube, the air box, this trim piece, the fan shroud, this plastic. It actually also works great on rubber hoses. It is safe on rubber, it is water based, and kind of helps prevent UV from damaging it, which not much UV will come to the engine bay obviously, but and having the engine bay open also gives me an opportunity to wipe down stuff like the valve cover, which is powder coated, you know, to keep it nice and clean, hopefully preserve the finish as much as possible and whatever else is dirty. So I also like to wipe the radiator support, keep that nice and clean. Having a clean engine bay will really make your car look much cleaner than it is. The second thing I like to do is roll down the front two windows on the 124 specifically, because when you roll down the windows, it's easier to clean and condition the rubber boots on the mirrors. So these are common to fade and crack because of the sun. So the 303 Aerospace Protectant, which is the product I use for the engine bay plastics, also works great on the rubber boots. So I also use it here. And these are the first couple things I do when I start cleaning a car. So once I clean and condition the plastics that are on the body and engine bay, then I move on to the tires. So I will dress each tire. So first I will go spray the product onto the microfiber, apply it to the tire, let it kind of soak, and then wipe it off, and that'll give it that kind of nice matte sheen finish. Depending on your level of tire shine preferences, you could apply it differently, but that's just how I do it. So I go do that last on all four because that gets the microfiber extremely dirty, and once I do that, that microfiber is pretty much done. And speaking of microfibers, this is my preferred microfiber to use, is the Costco Kirkland brand microfibers, the yellow 36 pack. Of course there are better microfibers you can buy, but my philosophy is I just use a brand new one on the paint every single time, and then it kind of trickles down. So the stuff that I use for the rubber and vinyl and the tires, that is all previously used microfibers that I've given some time to dry, so they're not immediately used after wiping down the car. So I have like a stockpile of these that I've already used that are too dirty to use on paint, but still clean enough to use on like tires and wheels and like little stuff like that, that you don't have to have a brand new microfiber on. But anytime that I go and clean the paint, it's a brand new microfiber every single time, no exceptions. And I do not wash these microfibers. So after they trickle down from the paint to the wheels to the tires, and once they get to the tires and they're really dirty, I might use them a couple times just for tires alone, then I throw them away. I do not wash these, I do not reuse these, I just keep buying new ones. All right, here are the products that I use. So pretty much every single one except the invisible glass, and just in kind of a generic bottle. The first one is the 303 Aerospace Protectant. This is my preferred product for vinyl, plastic, and rubber. It is a conditioner first. Sometimes I like to start it with the Meguiar's number 40. This is a vinyl and rubber and plastic cleaner and conditioner. So you actually notice when you use this product, a lot of dirt comes off the surface you're cleaning, and that's why I like to start off with this sometimes first. For example, this product worked really good on this piece of trim right here. So when I first started applying it to that, the microfiber I used to wipe it with would turn black every single time. So after a couple applications, I finally got that piece cleaned up, and the microfiber was no longer turning black after wiping it off. So there's definitely a cleaning agent in the Meguiar's number 40, and it works really well. I highly recommend it. So if you're getting started on this process that I'm doing, go ahead and just use the Meguiar's number 40. This will get that vinyl and rubber and plastic all cleaned up, and then once you have it to where it's not super dirty every time you're cleaning it, then I would move on to the 303. This is more of a conditioner, and it's more aggressive as a conditioner, so this has more UV protection. This next bottle you might recognize is a Griot's Garage bottle. I do not use any of their products, so don't be misguided by the bottle. I just like the bottle. It's a good sprayer. So I use the Meguiar's wash and wax in this bottle, so that's what that product is. That's the product I showed in the beginning of the video. That's my go-to for the paint. So after I do the tires and the rubber in the engine bay, I'll put the hood back down and start cleaning the paint and get all the paint done, and then I will move on to the glass. So I use invisible glass to clean up the glass, and this glass is coated with Rain-X, so everything cleans up a bit easier. So if you're not using Rain-X to coat all of your windows and your side mirrors, which I also use on here, you're missing out. I'll post a link in the description to all the products I use, but yeah, check out the Rain-X as well. It's super simple to apply, and the instructions are right on the bottle. It's the yellow bottle. The coating works really well. It helps keep the windows clean longer and helps make them easier to clean as well. So generally after cleaning the windows, the car is pretty much done. Then I could put it back in the garage and cover it up. However, because this is a convertible, I do one more step. I go ahead and take a lint roller to the canvas top, so the lint roller will get off any dust and debris. If there's any dirt that needs to come off, I use the 303 top cleaner to get it off. I spray directly on the part that's dirty and then kind of gently wipe it off with a microfiber that's not too dirty. And then sometimes I'll follow it up with the top protectant, which I already have a couple coatings applied to this car already, so I don't constantly keep reapplying it. I just do it as needed. All right, so I'll go ahead and start doing some of the process now and show you the before and after. So check out the engine bay. So up there, the cowling, all the plastic. So this is the before, and I'll get started and show you what it looks like. All right, so I just cleaned the cowling, so we'll see that the product is still on there. I gotta wipe it off. But check out, this is the side I use to apply. So this is the Meguiar's number 40. I decided to try it because I haven't used it in a while on the cowling, and it's a little dirty. This actually was much worse the first time I ever applied it. This towel was extremely black. This is kind of almost grayish. That's how I apply that product. Now I'm gonna go wipe it off with the dry side of this towel, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I just wiped the product off, so you see there's some streaking still. So the reason I apply this before I put the car away until the next time I drive it is the time that I leave the car sitting gives the product enough time to actually like absorb and dry off. So next time I take this car out, those streaks are gone, which is why I like to do it at the end of my driving session, not before. So that's why it looks that way, but the product worked really well. And I like to do this before I do the windows because of course you get some overlap. So the windows are a little greasy and dirty. So when I clean the windows, I'll clean that up and make sure it looks better. So now I applied the Meguiar's number 40 to the plastics in the engine bay, just directly sprayed it on. I'll give it a second to kind of sit, and then I'll go ahead and start wiping it with the microfiber that I used for the cowling. I don't do this every single time, I'm just doing it for a video, but once you have enough applications to put on, it'll look cleaner for a longer period of time. If this is your first application, it's not going to turn out very good. So you just have to keep doing it until it looks the way you want it to. All right, and here it is with the wipe down. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but it does look a little bit better in person. But mainly what I noticed is the amount of dirt that's coming off of the pieces up in the front. It's been a couple months since I cleaned the engine bay properly. That is probably why we are seeing the dirt coming off. But once you clean your engine bay and have a good application of product on there, it does stay looking cleaner longer, which is why people think my engine bay looks freshly detailed when it's not. So now we are done with the plastics in the engine bay. I'm going to go and do the mirrors and the tires, and then I'll check in with you. All right, so the way I do the tires is I spray the product directly on the microfiber first. So you just see how dirty this is. This is the last tire I'm going to do. So I spray it on the corner right here. So I just go ahead and apply it like this all throughout. Now you get the edge right here as well. Let's just do that all throughout. You're gonna get the wheel a little dirty, but we're gonna clean the wheel later. So just do this all throughout. So I like to apply it really thick in the beginning, and then before I wipe it down, I grab the edge, go one tread block over, apply the shine to a tread block, like that. And now I go to a dry side on the towel, and then I go ahead, wipe off the product. So it kind of dulls it down a little bit, as you can see. And if your tire is really dirty, this process will take way longer, but this product will help keep your tires clean as well. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go and use some wheel cleaner on your tire to get all that grime and dirt off, and a pressure washer. So here's the tire after the wipe down. We'll see it's like nice and matte, not too shiny, still nice and dark. Yeah, that's how I like to apply tire shine. The Meguiar's number 40 and the 303 are both great products to help keep potentially brittle rubber soft. So this is the rubber mirror boot on the 124. These are commonly known to get damaged from the sun and just get super hard and just break off. But we'll see mine nice and flexible still. And usually they won't be this soft after a couple years in the sun. This product has helped keep this thing in pretty good shape, so I'm pretty happy with both of these products. All right, next up is the paint. So I have lowered the hood to be able to access it. I generally like to start from the top to the bottoms. For the car with the solid roof, I would do the roof first and then work my way down. On this car, I'll start with the actual front end. So I'll do the hood, the grille, headlights, front bumper, fenders, and then work my way back. It's just how I like to do on this car. So I get a brand new Costco microfiber, rip the tag off. You fold it in fours, so it's just half and half. I'll show you in a second. Here's how I like to fold it. It's half of whatever this is. So this comes in half already, so I just fold it in half again. Now I have 8 clean sides to work on. So of course, this may not be the most proper way to apply the products. Every detailer will have his opinion. I'm not a detailer, I just like doing it my way. I'll tell you how I do it. So I have the microfiber ready. I grab the product, give it a shake, and I spray directly on the surface I'm going to wipe. So the hood, I'll just go ahead and spray it. I'll grab my towel and just slowly start to wipe. And of course, the best way to do this, you see it kind of is dirty, is to kind of like, as you're going, glide it up so the dirt it distributes more evenly instead of one spot so you don't scratch your paint. But of course, like I said, I'm not too worried about swirls, because swirls do happen, and if you're gonna just worry about swirls, you're not gonna enjoy your car. This product is pretty streak free. Just go back and forth, no circles, always back, forth, up, down. It's pretty good actually, pretty streak free. So I just go do this, do the whole car, and then I move on to the next step. All right, so here's the microfiber after just doing the hood. So this is much dirtier than I usually let the car get. If you do this after every drive, it won't be this dirty, but this is 3 days of driving, 100 miles. That's actually not too bad. And of course, like I said, you're probably gonna be swirling your paint just slightly. My car doesn't have ceramic coated. I should just use paste wax on it. Meguiar's Ultimate Paste Wax, whatever it's called. I'll also link that below in the description if you're interested. And I just keep rejuvenating it with the washing wax. That's all I use. There's no coating on this car, just that product. And actually, like, if you ever see my car in person, it does look fairly decent for what it is. It's not perfect by any stretch. So I know if you're a professional detailer, you're probably shaking your head about the process I do, but it's just what works best for me, and the results actually don't look too bad. And I'm not washing the car, which is not very convenient for me. All right, so I wipe down the body and wheels. You just keep moving the microfiber along as it gets dirty, so just keep monitoring that. The entire car plus 4 wheels that took up all 8 sides of the microfiber. If you're conservative and shared with the wheels, since they aren't too dirty, I use Akibono ceramic pads, which is why they don't get too dirty. So I probably could have used 2 sides, so I would have 2 clean sides left of the microfiber. But I just went ahead and did everything, and I cleaned the edges all the way around the body right here, around the wheel. See, there's like almost no streaking, which is why I only go over it once. I don't go over it with the dry side, and it's pretty clean. Now that the body and wheels are clean, I move on to the windows. So I'm gonna go roll up the windows and clean the windows. So for the windows, I will use a separate microfiber that has only been used on windows before. So the waxes and lubricant from the wash and wax don't contaminate it and leave streaks. So for this, I will actually go over it with the dry side. So I'll spray the window, wipe it off, and then switch to a dry towel or dry side of the towel and wipe it off again. And that's how you get a streak-free window. Visible glass is pretty good about being streak-free. There really isn't too much to see, just a couple specks of dirt. I'll just go ahead and do this and do the next step. All right, so the windows are now clean, so there's really nothing to see, but I will say that having the Rainix on here has made it significantly easier to get the windows clean. Dirt doesn't really stick to it anymore, so that's nice. And I also applied it to the mirror glass, which makes it easier to clean as well. So for those of you wondering about the Rainix, I would recommend applying it. So now we can move on to the final step, which is the top. Okay, so I noticed a little speck of dirt right there from driving in the canyon, so I will go ahead and apply the cleaner to this. 303 Cells are cleaner and protectant in the kit right here, so I'll also include a link to this in the description below. I like to get the big bottle of the protectant, and then the cleaner will last me quite a while, because once you get it clean, it stays clean pretty easily, and you only have to do some spot touch-ups with that. So here it is, tonneau cover and convertible top cleaner. I spray this directly on the stain, maybe let it soak for 30 seconds, and then wipe it off with a clean microfiber cloth. So I spray it on there, I'll let it saturate a little bit, and I'll spray some of this onto the microfiber as well. So just very carefully, just kind of try to get the stain out like that. Go to a clean side, wipe it off, and we'll see it's gone, which is what I really like about this product. It helps get the top clean really easily. So I'll go ahead and keep looking for more spots like that. So I'll go ahead and do that throughout the whole top, and then I will finish it off by throwing a lint roller on it, get all this dust off of it, and then it's done. So the 303 is actually pretty gentle on the top. Whatever discoloration you're seeing right here on camera is just it being wet. So I applied a lot of product right there. But this generally leaves the top in pretty good shape, so it doesn't damage it. Any damage that you see on my top has been from other products and not washing it properly. Final step is going to be the lint roller, so I'll go ahead and start with a fresh sheet. I'll keep taking the dirty sheets off as I go, so I'll probably go through about 3 or 4 sheets doing the whole top. All right, so now the top is as clean as it'll get. Of course, there's still some marks because it is wet from the spots I cleaned up, so I'll just let those dry. But typically, I'll let those dry, and then because it's actually kind of due now, I would apply the 303 top protectant after it dries. I'll say it's best to apply it when the weather's warm, like 72 degrees or above. Apply it, let it sit, and then take it out in the sun, let it soak into the top. It really makes your top look a lot better. It makes it look darker. That's a great product to use. But yeah, right now I'm done. I went over top with the lint roller. Any spots I missed, I cleaned them up, and then went over with the lint roller again. So now this is as clean as the top is going to get. So that means that the car is fully clean. So as a process I use to clean my car, I do not wash it at all. It's just easier for me. Of course, if you want the most perfect way, in terms of what most detailers define it as, is you wash the car with 2 buckets and touch it as little as possible. We touch the car a lot with this process, so obviously you're going to swirl it, but like I said, it doesn't bother me, and the swirls are so minimal in the sunlight, people don't even notice them. A lot of people think my car has been paint corrected and ceramic coated, but if you get up close, you'll see that the swirls are there. But that's one reason why I really like the Meguiar synthetic paste wax, is that it really hides imperfections. So I apply that probably maybe once a year or every other year, because I drive this car so little. So if you drive it more often, you have to apply it more often. This is how I keep my car clean. So someone asked me what I do to keep the car clean, and here's the full process. So this is literally everything that I use right here. This is not a sponsored video. No one asked me to do a promotion, so this is literally everything that I actually use. So I have no incentive to promote these products other than the fact that I actually genuinely use them and like them. If you are interested in anything that I mentioned that I use in this video, check out the description, it's right there. And I'm sorry to disappoint those that were looking for a tutorial on how to do it on a car that's daily driven, kept outside. This is not it, apologize for that. But hopefully one day I can do that. but for now, this will have to do. So now that this car is clean, I'll go ahead and put it back in the garage and put it under a cover until the next time I take it out. So it's ready to go. The garage is the biggest secret, honestly. That's what keeps the car away from the elements and clean, so stuff doesn't get on it and get dirty. And that is the secret, is just don't let your car get dirty, and that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below. Check out the products below. If you found the video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.